Hey everybody, welcome back. It's week 13 in the NFL. We're coming at you a little bit later here on Thursday night, right in the middle of this Cowboys-Saints game. Cowboys got off to a hot start. Saints are coming back. Right now, as we're talking to you, it's, about the end of the third quarter. Saints are making a comeback. Skip Bayless is losing his shit on Twitter. Things are going south for Skip. How are things going for you, poker guy?
They're going good. I'm just sitting here watching the game. Same thing. Cowboys up 13-10 to the Saints, but who knows, man? I don't think the Cowboys are going to win this, but it remains to be seen. By the end of our pod, we'll probably have a better idea of who's going to win this shit. But we got a lot to talk about today, man. Let's start.
Yeah, we got a lot to get through here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. If you haven't seen this, haven't heard about this, we're going to get you up to speed on a couple things that we are interested in the world of sports. If you're new to the podcast, hey, thanks for listening. We got a lot of new listeners coming at us. Thanks for joining up. Thanks for being with us. Mad props to all our friends overseas. Getting big in the UK, over in Sweden. Got a couple people in Australia tuning in. So, hello to everyone in our international audience. You can, see firsthand how ignorant most Americans are.
And we are ignorant. So, hold on to your panties. Let's get it going.
Let's get it moving here. All right, first thing, I'm not going to let this go. I'm big into Zach Smith and everything that he's got going on. So we're going to give you a Zach Smith Twitter update real quick and everything that he's got going on with his Twitter feed. He's got 67,000 followers almost at this point. I think before he went on his drunken tirade, he probably had about a tenth of that. So he's blowing up. He's his own phenomenon. And the thing I like about Zach Smith, it's not that he's a good guy. Don't think that I'm a big Zach Smith supporter, that I think that he's a good guy. He just entertains me, all right? And it's okay to be entertained. The thing I like most about him, though, is he's not going to take shit from anybody, particularly an individual named Nathan White. So if you don't know who Nathan White is, then you're not following Zach Smith's Twitter feed. Poker guy, you know who Nathan White is?
I don't, but let's take a couple steps back for the listeners that may not be familiar with this. Apparently, Twitter's the shit. People can let all their personal information online, and you can jump into their lives. Zach Smith is a guy who, from what I understand, got caught cheating on his wife, and he had kind of like a mental breakdown, a little alcohol moment, and he's going around just burning stuff, setting things afire, setting things ablaze, which includes
he's going full General Sherman, march to the sea, burn it to the ground. He was accused of domestic violence. That's a kiss of death, particularly within the college football ranks. Doesn't matter if you're a highly talented linebacker, which we'll get to later. It doesn't fucking matter how many chicks you beat up or, how many times you do it. Apparently, Daniel Snyder will give you a job no matter what. But Zach Smith's out there looking for work. He's got a little too much time on the couch. Seems to be doing a little bit of day drinking, a little bit of day tweeting. He didn't take kind of people that are attacking him, be they Brett McMurphy or Mr. Nathan White. So Mr. Nathan White, apparently he is a antagonist of Zach Smith, he's got a couple of skeletons in his closet as well. So Zach Smith on November 26th, he put out a public service announcement. And so I'm going to read this tweet directly. Public service announcement. Nathan White, a real estate agent, fired from 3 serving jobs, 1 for calling a black person the N-word, also lost a job for sexual misconduct, decided he should come at me on social media. Attention, Columbus, Ohio. Do not utilize this racist. And then he's got a screenshot of Nathan White's LinkedIn page, or I guess his profile on Zillow. So that's not. They say all publicity is good publicity, but I'm gonna have to disagree if you're Mr. Nathan White at this point.
Well, we don't condone any of these actions or behavior. We don't condone alcoholism or racism, but goddamn, do we enjoy a train wreck? And this is a train wreck in slow motion in real time. We're loving it. I'm loving it.
I'll tell you what people weren't loving, and we hit on this last week as well. We'll give you a little update. Was our good friend, and just as I predicted, now former Hilton employee, that guy that posted that racist tweet of Willie Taggart, the Florida State head coach. He has been relieved of his duties as a Hilton employee. He does not represent their values, and he's out looking for work, and rightfully so.
At this point, is he rehirable? Like, is Hilton looking at him as a rehirable person, or is it just over, you think?
I mean, he's gonna have to do that thing back in the day. I don't know. Do you remember who Bobby Valentine is?
No.
So Bobby Valentine is an old school baseball guy. So he was a manager for, I believe, the Mets when this particular incident occurred. But Bobby Valentine got kicked out of he got ejected from a baseball game. So he
For
went in the
what?
dugout and he put on a fake mustache and some
Oh.
sunglasses. And then he came back out into the dugout and tried to hang out there for a while. And then eventually, I think, obviously the producers of the television, the television broadcast saw that. They got all that on. And eventually the umpires caught on and he was re-ejected from the game. But I think if that guy from Florida State is going to be able to get a job at this point, he's going to have to alter his appearance. He's got to do that. He's got to go on his own personal Biggest Loser, grow a beard, and just hope that people don't kind of remember his name very specifically if he's going to be able to get another job.
Yeah, he's gonna start buying a lot of hats, and he's gonna start wearing a lot of hats. I mean, he could always be like a Walmart door greeter. I'm sure they don't do background checks to say hi to people. You know what I mean? I mean, you can show up drunk as hell to that job and say what's up to people. If
Or he
anything,
could,
that sounds like a fun job.
or he could go work at that hospital where Trayvon Grimes' mom worked at, because they obviously don't do background checks there, because she got a job treating and caring for patients after she fleeced and stole $10,000 from a couple that was dying of dementia and Parkinson's from right under their noses. So we could probably maybe get a job at that hospital.
Didn't she get caught too for like selling perks and stuff for selling their drugs?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think she did. I think that's just what we were talking about when we were talking about it initially.
That's how
So,
rumors start.
yeah, so I think you're actually quoting as fact our joke/rumor of our initial conversation about her. So yeah, I mean so that we can't speak to as facts, but it's not out of question that she's the type of individual that would do something like that.
We're just doing the math. That's all. We're just doing math.
We're doing math and asking questions, people, all right? We don't have sources like fucking Mark Schlabach, or pretend that we have sources like Mark Schlabach or Brett McMurphy, two of the worst reporters. I use the term reporter very loosely, of course, in sports reporting history.
So what are we going to talk about now, man? You want to talk about this hang gliding thing? I know you just saw that before we took off on the pod. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's a video of this guy, and he goes hang gliding. And it's one of those trips that you do like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Like, I can't wait to go hang gliding off of a mountain, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently the guy who runs the business didn't put the little Velcro strap in. So this guy takes off. And I mean, talk us through that, Bobby. What happened?
Yeah, so you introduced me to that video just a few minutes ago. And if you're going to sum it up, just go into Google, type in, man hang gliding, not connected to hang glider. You'll get there eventually. And it's one of those things where, so when you do this, apparently he's doing a tandem hang glide. So the guy who actually knows how to work a hang glider, I have no idea how a hang glider works. I've never been on a hang glider. I will leave this earth without ever going on a hang glider, particularly after seeing this video. But he goes on this thing, and they both got a set of harnesses on. And the dude that is responsible for, the safety of this noob and the safety of the hang gliding experience doesn't strap himself to the other guy to keep him secure on the hang glider. So they do a little push off the mountain, and right afterwards, seconds into it, it becomes very apparent that this guy is not hooked up. And the video I saw was only about 3 minutes long, but he is just struggling for he is literally hanging on for dear life, like Sylvester Stallone trying to hang on to his girlfriend at the beginning of the movie Cliffhanger. God, that this guy, they were both wearing sets of black gloves, and one of them slipped. Like in that movie, there was no John Lithgow to fucking chase him down or have to worry about. So it's just 3 minutes of this guy just hanging on for dear life. And spoiler alert, everything turns out okay and he makes it. But he made it. All right. So he made it. I'll give him credit for that. Right. I'm always going to give him credit for that. But the thing is, he does that all fucking wrong. All right. So I don't know how long the actual hang gliding experience was. Yeah, they chopped this video up to make things, more more consumable for me, the online viewer. And he's just hanging on with his fucking hands the entire time, man. Like, that's not how you want to do that. For anybody out there listening to this, if you ever get caught in that situation, what you need to do, you need to chicken wing that thing. All right. So you got to get your elbow over the bar, and then you're going to kind of go like a wrist lock on yourself, and then use that elbow to hold yourself up. Because he was just fucking, I give him props, man. This dude's got some grip strength, man. He must have been doing some pull-ups or have some of those, like, those fucking sitting at his cubicle squeezing those crusher things. Because he hung on. I bet he's got a lot of adrenaline flowing at that point too. Because he realizes, man, if he lets go, he's a dead man.
That's one of those reasons I will never do skydiving. I know some listeners out there are big skydivers and are braver than me, but that's one of those things I will never do because all it takes is one guy who's having a bad day. You know what I mean? He forgot to strap in the thing, or his girlfriend broke up with him, his wife cheated on him, whatever it may be. And then you're tandemly attached to another human being, and then they have a death wish, and then you die. And then you become that guy on Florida Today. Like, hey, remember poker guy, he had a good time. He went skydiving, but he didn't make it.
I'll tell you what, I have actually been skydiving. So I've been skydiving one time and never again. All right. Turns out I'm not a big fan of it. I've never been a big fan of heights, but I was back in college and I had a friend who worked for it was a publication called Campus Magazine. So it's a little tiny campus magazine that, got circulated. It's mostly just for, college related things. Sure, and he came up to me one day and he's like, hey, Bobby, what do you think about going skydiving? I was like, I don't know, man. I never really thought about it before. So he's like, you can go for free. All you got to do is write like 1,000 words on it or 500 words or something for the magazine, write about the experience. So I said, oh, okay, could probably do that. And we go ahead and we go out to this place north of my campus, a little skydiving place, which incidentally, spoiler alert, I made it, but about 6 months later, there was another individual who didn't make it. There's about one or two deaths a year that come out of this place.
Jesus, man.
So I went out there, I may have, smoked a little bit, got myself a little bit relaxed before I went out there. And there's a couple things that stood out to me. One is a complete lack of training that you need before you go skydiving.
Okay.
Essentially,
I'm assuming it's like a 20-minute VHS video from 1988 with like some Pamela Anderson like model in the background and some corny 80s music. That's what I'm imagining.
You're imagining it extremely correctly. That's essentially all the training that you get before you do that. And I was doing a tandem jump. So I'm a pretty big guy. At the time, I was probably, I'm 6'3". I was probably about 210, 215 pounds. And, I watched a little video, and then I was strapped up exactly like that dude in the in the hang gliding video. Like, you don't have a parachute, man. Like, I didn't have a parachute. All I had was a little like harness around me with a bunch of clips on the back. Same as this guy. He didn't have a hang glider. I didn't have a parachute. So it's like I'm completely relying on the dude, this experienced skydiver, to get me through this experience.
You're putting your life in somebody else's hand. And it's like, I won't even do that. I mean, I love my family and I love my friends and my parents, but I don't trust anybody with my own life in their hands. I'm sorry, I just won't do it. And then you're asking me to do it with a stranger that probably drank way too much Red Bull and isn't fucking thinking straight.
Yeah, he's on his 40th jump of the day. He's just going through the motions at that point. And so I'm sitting out there and I'm really having some second thoughts. Oh, I don't fucking know about this, man. I'm getting ready to chicken out. And I'm getting ready to say, hey, dude, I don't want to do this. I'm basically that fat guy in Shawshank Redemption when Andy Dufresne shows up. I'm like, I don't want to be here, man. I don't belong here. I don't deserve to be here. And then Hadley pulls him out and beats him to death. But anyhow, I'm that guy in my own mind. Like, this is not the place for me. But right as I'm about to turn back, this parachute comes down and lands in the landing area. And a couple people go out there and they kind of greet the person. I'm like, what's going on there? And there's someone who is affiliated with that party, next to me, and they're like, oh, it's this lady's 50th birthday, so she decided to do this today. And I'm like, oh man, that is a real challenge to your manhood in the moment, where you're like, oh man, this 50-year-old lady is doing this, and I'm an able-bodied, 21, 22-year-old male, and I'm like, all right, well, basically I fucking gotta do this now. There's no way that I can't do this. So, hey, I decided to do it. I hop in the plane, and it's this rickety-ass fucking plane, man. It is the shittiest plane in the history of planes. Like those movies where they've got the guy smoking cigarettes doing those island hopping things. You say to yourself, I would never get in a plane like that. Well, I can't say that because I did get in a plane like that. And what they do is they corkscrew up in the air. So you fly up in a series of giant circles. Oh my God. Until you hit your jump height. And the higher you get, the more the anxiety goes. And in the cabin or in the plane or whatever, it was me, the guy I was jumping with, and then two dudes that knew what the hell they were doing, man. And they were fucking getting on me. They were getting in my head. Like they own more real estate in my head than Joel Embiid owns in Andre Drummond's head. Like they had space in there. They had furniture, big screen TV, and they were fucking me up. But, I mean, there's nothing you can do at that point. And at that point, I was resolved, having been in that plane. I was like, dude, I don't know how safe it is to jump out of this thing, but I don't know how safe it is to land in it either. I was not looking forward to the prospect of having to land in that plane. So eventually what happens is the door opens. And holy shit, man, when you're 12,000 feet in the air, and you don't even have your own parachute. You don't even have your own parachute, man. Like there's just some dude strapped to your back and then he's got a parachute. And you're like, all right, well now we got multiple variables here. All right, does the chute open? I hope so. Do these little fucking clips hold my giant ass like secure against his body when it does? There's a lot of questions you're asking yourself. But I mean, and it's weird, like, how do you convince yourself to like jump out of a fucking plane like that? I don't know, but it happened. And then you just start falling, man. You start falling, and it is a very uncomfortable feeling. Like at no point in time did I feel really anything but fear. Like just varying levels of fear and really very little exhilaration. Right? It was not that exhilarating of a moment. So what I did, you just hope, and it feels like there's that I think there's a movie out there called Terminal Velocity. Charlie Sheen may or may not be in it, I don't know, but it feels like you are going to get to a speed where you just kind of like your body's going to start to melt because you're fucking falling so fast. And then eventually the parachute opened up, and when that happens, it's a very violent experience when that happens. Sure. It's almost like a car wreck because you're going from however many miles an hour to however many less miles an hour. You're going from the speed you will absolutely die hitting the ground to a speed where you won't. And the way the harnesses are, it really smashed my nuts when it happened because you're in this kind of full figure eight harness doing all that stuff. And eventually it opens up. And then your next set of fear is they don't give you any instructions on how to land, right? It's like after the parachute opens up, the guy's basically like, hey man, keep your legs up when we land. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I keep them up and straight out, like cannonball myself. Like I need better instructions than this. But I ended up hitting the ground. I didn't tear my ACL or, go full Mr. Glass like Sam Bradford. So I made it through. And there's nothing fun about that at all.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to participate in that, man. It sounds horrible. It sounds
No, it's like
horrifying.
when you're in boot camp, they make you like rappel down this wall. So I went to boot camp after college, so I'd already had that experience, so it wasn't quite as terrifying. But they have you build like you just stand there in a line, and then they hand you a piece of rope, and they're like, "All right, tie this around your waist, tie it under your leg. You're good to go, man." So you build your own harness, and then they throw you off this tower. It's like, dude, I don't know. How do you know if I did this right? Like, how do I know this thing's gonna hold? Like, this does not seem safe.
Yo, can I get some quality assurance over here, brother? Hold on a second, dude. I want to
Yeah.
make sure I don't die
Can you
here,
please
man.
do this for me? I'm not trying to have you hold my hand for everything I do here, but like I've never done this before, so help me out a little bit.
That's like one of those things I'll never do, man. I will never do bungee jumping. I'll never do skydiving. I won't do zip lining. I won't do any of that shit. I have no interest. I have no desire. I'm never going to do it. No, thank you. I'm good. I like being alive. I do not want to die. It's not going to happen.
I very much enjoy this as well, this being alive thing. That's one of the things like on the back end, like, when you get back, you've done a couple combat deployments. People go one of two ways, I guess. There are some people that become addicted to the thrill and they become
Yeah.
like thrill seekers or adrenaline junkies. I went the other way where I'm like, all right, I survived all that shit. So let me not die doing something stupid. Let me look across the road 4 times before that. Like that intersection in New Jersey that you lived by was absolutely a horrifyingly, like, it was horrified me. I
I'd
would
never
stay back.
forget that, man. I never forget that. There was always like that big light fixture that would come out of the ground, and you taught me something because I would always kind of stand close to where the sewer was, kind of where I could like easily jaywalk or kind of play Frogger with myself. But you would always stand behind the metal pole because you were always like, if a fucking car comes crashing in here, I'm not gonna die because some asshole isn't paying attention and runs me over. I'll never forget that shit, man. That's
Yeah,
so
you
funny.
just you stand behind that so that they hit the pole and then their car stops and you are not the pole because you won't stop their
Right.
car the same way that thing will. There's no guarantees in life, but it's called risk management, people. It's like how Nick Saban is able to guide all these people through his program for 4 years, and then they for some reason they don't end up doing a bunch of crimes while they're at Alabama. They just wait till afterwards. But let's move on to the next thing here. I want to talk a little bit about my man Bomani Jones. So I'm a big Bomani Jones fan. He speaks his mind. He doesn't give he doesn't give you any sort of sugarcoating on things. And one of the big things that's been happening this week on Twitter is he came out. There's this white dude from Wisconsin. He's your classic Aaron Kraft, Wojciechowski, that dude from Duke. He's your floor slapping white point guard. That's him, to put in everybody's mind. And he plays
So
for
Bomani,
Wisconsin.
who's Bomani Jones? ESPN analyst. He's on a couple shows. Isn't he on the show with the Spanish guy in
He was
Miami?
on with Levitard. He's got a different show now. I think the guy's name is Pablo Torres, maybe. I think it's Pablo Torres. They have their own kind of, and that's where this clip came from. I think it's called High Noon is their show.
Okay.
But there's a clip on Twitter going around of this white dude from Wisconsin taking a whole bunch of charges. So he took 4 or 5 charges in one game. It's a home game at Wisconsin. The crowd's blowing up, and this guy's going full Aaron Kraft mode. Just, yeah! He couldn't be more impressed with himself. And Bomani Jones comes out and just shits all over him. And one of his specific words is like, man, you need to have some self-respect. It's like, that ain't the way to play basketball. So, and the only person I've seen piss off white people in Wisconsin more effectively than Bomani Jones did with this comment is Martellus Bennett, who Martellus Bennett quit on the Packers mid-season. I don't know if you remember that, but he quit on the Packers mid-season and then joined up with the Patriots and went and won a Super Bowl on the back end of that. So people in New England love him, people in Green Bay not so much. So but everyone in Wisconsin came out and they're coming at Bomani Jones, and his replies to these people are pretty fucking savage. One guy came out and he's like, taking a charge is one of the best feelings in basketball. So Bomani Jones is like, that's a dude that's obviously never dunked before.
Oh, so he's coming back at with like the savage responses.
Yeah, and then he straight up just called some dude a dork. He's like, you're a dork. I was like, damn. He's not holding back at all.
Well, Trump a couple years ago, not to make it a political thing, but I know Trump was going after Jon Stewart. And it was very derogatory, but very childish, very similar. And it's always funny to see adult males calling each other nerds and dweebs. It's a certain level of childish charm to it. It's kind of funny.
What that was specifically was at 2:30 in the morning, Trump actually called he said Jon Stewart is a pussy. That was his very specific phrasing as to what was going on there with Jon Stewart. So yeah, I mean, surprise, surprise.
Again, not to make it political, but it's funny that
this is before he was the president. Everybody, that was just two private citizens going at each other on Twitter. So there's nothing wrong with that. Let's go ahead and let's move on here. So one of the things to talk about before we get into these NFL games. Now we got this heavyweight fight. So it's Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Wilder's a heavyweight champion. I think he's 40-0 with 39 knockouts. And him and this Tyson Fury guy got it. They're going to have to fight this weekend. They got in one of your classic stare down almost brawls, which is nothing new. But this Fury guy went ahead and he went full Randy Marsh mode and just ripped his shirt off. Was like, I thought this was America, man. And he just rips his shirt off. And I'll tell you what, if I'm betting on this fight, I'm not betting on that dude because he looked Kevin Durant soft in the midsection. Like he had a lot of lower back fat going on to where I'm like, oh man, that's not a supreme athlete that could take out a guy who's knocked out 39 of the 40 people that he's fought so far.
Yeah, but looks can be deceiving, and there's nothing better than watching one of those out-of-shape fat guys, out-of-shape chubby guys, just throw a couple haymakers and knock somebody out. So I don't know shit about MMA. You don't know shit about MMA. We're hoping that this is one of those knockouts that we can kind of look back and watch like a GIF of it, a 30-second GIF, and get like a whole kind of whole expose of how the fight was. I don't want to sit there and watch, a 3-hour pay-per-view event, but I would definitely want to see a nice little highlight reel.
Absolutely. It kind of makes me wonder how our good friend Tank Abbott is doing these days. I'm thinking of out of shape white guys that throw haymakers.
Talking shit about I will punch any woman.
Yeah, about punching women out, going full Reuben Foster on any woman that may come in his way. But the last thing I want to talk about, have you seen all this stuff going on with all these giant cows lately that have been overtaking the internet?
No, dude, no. What is this?
All right,
I have not heard about it.
Yeah, just Google like friggin' giant cow. All right, all you gotta do, and you'll get.
It's a big cow.
Yeah, you'll just Google giant cow, and it's Meat Knickers, the giant cow that is neither a cow or a giant. I think he's a steer.
It's a big cow.
Yeah. So that guy's a unit, and he is actually apparently that animal has become too large to be slaughtered. So he's gotten too big, and they can't fit him in, whatever the facilities are to murder cows and turn them into hamburgers. So he can't do that anymore. So his job is basically showing people, he's kind of like a herder, and he's there to show the other cows that are going to die how to spend their time on the farm, before that happens to them. So Knickers is living a privileged life until presumably that giant heart of his gives out from having to pump that fucking blood all the way through his body.
He looks delicious.
Yeah, he does look delicious. I don't know. I mean, they say that. I mean, I guess that's why veal is so delicious because it's all tender and everything. He's probably
he's definitely edible. You're just saying that he doesn't fit into the machine.
Yeah, he can't be easily processed with however they do that. I'm not that familiar with the slaughter process for these animals, thankfully. I'm going to detach myself from that so as to assuage my own internal, my internal freaking problems with eating these delicious creatures.
Right, because we all love animals, but goddamn, are they delicious? God damn, are
It's
they
too good, man. I'm
delicious?
sorry.
Oh my
God
god.
bless you if you're vegan. I appreciate that. You're doing people favors, but more meat for me. More meat for me. I'll take your burger.
There's a funny guy at the beginning stages of the internet. He had some funny thing, and he said, "For any animal you don't eat, I'm going to eat three." Then he had this thing, and it was very funny because he had like one of those crude images, and it was like a monkey, like a cow, and like a toucan. Like two animals. You're never gonna eat a toucan or a monkey. But it was real childish and stupid, and I think it was Maddox. Was the name of the guy back in the day. So any listeners that are old school internet people, you'll know what I'm talking about.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get these games. Saints to Cowboys. It's 13-10. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It looks like the Cowboys are driving 3rd and 8 on New Orleans 22. So we may
God
have a
damn.
field goal here and then potential for a Drew Brees heartbreaker at the end of that. Oh, no, they got first down there. So
Yeah, first down.
touchdown there is going to seal this thing. Skip Bayless will fall asleep, come all over himself tonight. That's for sure if that's the case. But let's go ahead. Let's get in the rest of these games. Start off here with the Ravens at the Falcons. Ravens 6-5 at the Falcons 4-7. Over under is 48. Falcons 1.5 point favorites at home against the Ravens. Looks like Lamar Jackson is going to be playing again this week. And you know me with the Falcons. I'm off them. I've been on them, and they've been screwing me over. But I tell you what, man, I can't help but want to go back to them because I don't trust the Ravens with Jackson on a away game in that dome in Atlanta. Falcons don't have much to play for, but I just feel like this is one of these games where they're going to screw the Ravens fans over, and they're going to win this thing.
I don't disagree with you. Their defense is really all over the place, but they are fast and they are athletic. They're very Jeff Driscoll-y, so I think they might be able to keep up with Lamar Jackson. But there is the fact that their D has been underperforming all year long. So we'll see. Very similar to Arthur Banks' D. They're pretty much doing the same thing. Both of those things are underperforming. Lots of confusion in Atlanta coming up, but I don't know. I'm against you, buddy. I'm going to take the Ravens here.
You're on the Ravens. I can't get off the Falcons. I'm not putting any of my actual fake Bovada money, my Bitcoin money on this thing. Apparently, Bitcoin is taking another nosedive for all you,
Oh, really?
yeah, for all you cryptocurrency investors out there. You're gonna be jumping off the balcony here in a few weeks when it takes its next dive. You're gonna dive along with it. See where the coin's at on this. So the coin, he's on the away team. The coin's with you. So we're going to have 2 against 1. For new listeners, it's me picking the games, poker guy picking the games, and then we got a third party here, which is actually just a coin that I flip. And that picks the games as well. We're going to see at the end of this year, who knows what the hell they're talking about. And I got a feeling we all might be trailing the coin. What you want to do basically is a general betting strategy. So one of the things they call out in betting for you poker guys, they call it fading people, right? So you find somebody who makes picks, and when you're convinced that they suck and they don't know what they're talking about, you just pick the opposite of whatever they do. So it's always a good idea to fade me and poker guy whenever we're at a consensus on a game. The coin, hey, you're 50-50 against him. That's kind of the nature of that. But so it's 2-on-1 there. I'm staying with the Falcons. Move on to the next game. Bears at the Giants. 8-3 Bears at the 3-8 Giants. Over under is 44.5. Giants are 4-point dogs at home. I don't know if Trubisky is playing this game, but I know he's back into practicing. So he's dealing with that shoulder injury. He was out, for that Thanksgiving game. So for whatever reason, even if we get Chase Daniel here, I still like the Bears against the Giants. Eli's going to commit at least 2 or 3 turnovers. You got to be feeling that. They're a bad matchup for Barkley. And I mean, East Rutherford, New Jersey for a 3-8 Giants team. That's going to be a San Diego Chargers level of home field advantage. So I'm going to take the Bears given those 4 points on the road.
I'm going to I'm going to pretty much mirror whatever you just said. I agree with you 100%. We've been clamoring about the noodle arm, and they've had a couple good. I think they played the Niners. I think they played another team, maybe the Cowboys. They were able to win a couple games here. But a Titanic level glacier impact is coming. And I think this is the game. Um, True Giants fans want a Giants loss here. But the ones that are delusional, they want a Giants win. They're going to be rooting for Eli Manning. But let's be honest. I think the Bears D is going to eat. I'm going to take the Bears here with you, buddy.
Good chance. I mean, I don't know if you can get a prop bet on this, but what is it? Maybe plus 20,000 that Khalil Mack kills Eli Manning on the field this week. That's got to be out there somewhere. Probably worth a $5 bet. Just to you never know. I mean, that dude's a fucking monster. And
Who's their safety? Who's the Bears safety? Jackson, like Ed Jackson or whatever.
oh, Edwin Jackson. He's a cornerback, but yeah, he
I
played at
think
Alabama, and he's been on fire lately.
he's going to get at least 2 interceptions. That Eli Manning noodle arm is going full noodle this week.
Yeah, there's definitely another pick. He's going to throw a pick six this week. You got to count on that. I'll take the Bears all day long. That's one of my best bets of the week right there. Whether it's Daniels or Trubisky. I'm not that high on
Doesn't
Trubisky. He's
matter.
better than Daniels, but
The
I'm
D is
all
going
over
to
the
carry him. It
Bears.
doesn't really matter. You can put Tim Tebow back there. It really doesn't matter. The Bears defense is going to carry these guys all the way through.
They're going to get that. Next game to talk about, Panthers 6-5 at the Bucks 4-7. Over under is 54.5. Bucks are 3.5-point dogs at home. Cam Newton, he's been having a good season, statistically one of his best seasons. McCaffrey's putting together some stats. He's great for fantasy owners, but they've lost 3 in a row. They're on a slide. Are they going to be able to take advantage of the Bucks at the Bucks place, particularly when Jameis appeared to get his LASIK surgery done during his off time? Because he saw them all last week. No picks. Can he do that 2 weeks in a row? That may be too much to ask for famous Jameis. I just don't know what to make of this Panthers team.
I don't like that line either. They're saying almost a 55-point line, so I don't even know how to bet on this. And I'm surprised that the Bucks are just a 3-point underdog. It's pretty wild, but I'm going to take the Panthers here. I just really don't believe in Tampa. I mean, they're such a bad team. They're giving tickets away. That's how bad the showing is over there in Tampa Bay. So I'm not expecting much from the fans. No home field advantage. Cam is going to take it.
Maybe that guy, I know that guy that got fired from the Hilton is a Buccaneers fan as well because he had a racist tweet against Lovie Smith back in the day. So maybe he'll grab one of those free tickets and head in there, try and console himself after losing his job because he's living in that part of Florida.
He'll be wearing a fake mustache, that's for sure. A Dr. Disrespect level fake toupee, fake mustache. He's gonna be wearing some goofy shit just to sneak in there because I'm pretty sure he's likely blackballed from that event.
Yeah, he's Harvey Updike level blackballed from all local sporting events. Which, hey, say what you will about Harvey Updike, he didn't commit a racist crime. He black, white, whatever color your skin. If you're an Auburn fan, that dude fucking hates you. He hates you straight up. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. I literally have a picture of Harvey Updike in an elephant hat and an Alabama Letterman's jacket with all their different championship like years and little footballs on it. And that dude's a fucking fan, man. He's also a felon. So, the old fanatic thing, that definitely applies to old Harvey. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game. We got the Colts 6-5 at the Jaguars 3-8. The Jags fucked me over last week by walking in all limp-dicked into Buffalo. I mean, did they fuck me over? Did the Buffalo Bills fuck me over again? Because they can't stop doing that. I'm never betting another penny on a Bills game. Not this year. No, thank you. Over-under is 47. Colts are 4-point favorites on the road at Jacksonville. Big story here. Well, first, let's go ahead. Let's give you the Captain Andrew Luck tweet for this week's preparation. So Captain Andrew Luck on Twitter. If you don't follow him, follow him. What that is, that's an account where a guy pretends that Andrew Luck is a Civil War officer, and all of his tweets are they are letters to his mother. So this week, Andrew says, "Dearest mother, I have received your care package of sugared beaver tail and cured badger skins. We continue our march to face the jungle cat men once more. My sidearm continues to be true, the squirrel oil being a tremendous benefit. Please inform the cows I am well. Andrew."
That's
So
stupid.
Andrew's all fired up. And the big news this week going into that game is Blake Baby Dick Bortles. He's hitting the pine. We're getting Cody Kessler.
I read a crazy stat. Blake Bortles, he leads the league in interceptions, total turnovers, and pick sixes. There are a couple of people describing it, like how you would describe that as a bad trifecta. It's the evil trifecta. This is for the gamers out there. This is what we call in the Call of Duty zombie mode a fire sale. Everything's for sale. Sell, sell, sell. Sell the coach, sell the quarterback, sell the offensive coordinator, sell everything. Sell your Bitcoin, sell your Tesla stock, sell it all. The crash is happening. The Jags can't afford it. This is their last breath. The Colts are going to kick the shit out of the Jags. And let's be honest, Jim Irsay is probably still slipping some codeine, perk, and Adderall cocktails to his players. So I'm expecting the Colts to kick the shit out of the Jags. I'm taking the Jags. Or I'm taking the Colts.
I'm with you on this. Jim is going to transport that mortar and pestle down to Jacksonville with him because he's going to need that on the plane ride back. They're going to have a hell of a party flying back to Indy, and the Colts are going to take this thing. I like them to cover those 4 points. They won last week, didn't cover, but I think they got it in them this week. Moving on to my least favorite team of the year, the fucking Buffalo Bills, 4-7 at the Dolphins, 5-6. Over-unders 40, 3.5 point dogs. The biggest thing I saw with this game, Kenny Stills, a wide receiver for the Dolphins. He came out and he threw his quarterbacks under the bus. He threw Brock Lobster and Ryan Tannehill under the bus. And his quote was, he's getting open, but he can't throw the ball to himself. And that is, he tried coming on the back end of it and say, it's a team game, no one guy, this and that. But that is straight up just throwing shade on your quarterback.
That's a good one. That's a frustration quote right there. Can you really blame the guy? I mean, they got the Broccoli Rob and they got Tannehill, who's a pretty much a wide receiver. Can you really blame the guy? But here's the big question, man. Josh Allen played pretty good last week, but with the high tide comes the low tide.
Okay. Now, he did not play well. Jalen Ramsey's assessment of him being trash is still accurate despite their win. He was 8 of 19. He was 8 of 19 in a league where most people are completing about 65% of their passes. So
let me ask you, was he an improvement from Nate Peterman? Did he go full Peterman or what?
No, but that's not the standard that you want. That's like asking if any head coach is an improvement over Hugh Jackson. Oh, is Greg Williams an improvement over Hugh Jackson? Oh, fucking of course he is. He's literally like Nate Peterman, statistically at this point, is definitely the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL, which I guess you got to work out from the Broncos, apparently. I guess they had a hole to fill in their roster after Chad Kelly got drunk, went into that dude's house, and sat on his couch trying to fucking pet his baby, blacked out after the Broncos Halloween party at Von Miller's house. But all right, so I'm not betting. I'm going to pick this game, but you never catch me putting another dollar on a Bills game, particularly a Bills-Dolphins game. I'm going to pick the Bills to cover here. I think they can sneak out a win against the Dolphins.
So I'm against you. Like I said, with the high tide, the Josh Allen win comes the low tide. Dolphins are going to do this thing where they win a games, a couple games at the end of the year to make sure they get to that 8-8. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Dolphins here. And if the Dolphins end up losing this game to the Bills, are we going to see the end of Adam Gase, or is he going to what do you think is going to happen to the coach here in Miami?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he's not a good coach. I think we could kind of throw that by the wayside. The assessment of that. All I know, he's not a good coach, and he looks like the bad guy from the movie Ghost. Those are the only two things that I know about Adam Gase. That's the only thing that I know about that guy. That and that Peyton Manning got him a job, like he's gotten so many others a job that they didn't deserve.
Okay, so we agree on a couple things. Adam Gase isn't a good coach, and he looks like the bad guy from Ghost. Got it. Let's move on.
So we're all in agreement there. We forgot to flip this coin for a couple of these. So in the Bears game, he's got the Giants. In the Panthers game, got the Panthers. Colts game, he's on the Colts. Let's go ahead and catch up here, coin. He got in this Bills-Dolphins game. Hey, you got the Bills. All right, with me on that one. Moving on, the Browns versus the Texans. Browns 4-6-1. Texans 8-3 on an 8-game winning streak. Over-unders 47. Texans are 5.5 point favorites at home. And big story here for the Browns this week is Baker Mayfield can't stop shitting all over Hugh Jackson. People just keep asking him questions, and he just keeps answering them. And every time he answers one of them, he says something terrible about Hugh Jackson that the media is just eating up.
Your buddy Bomani Jones, because you were talking about him, he actually came out and said something really funny. He said Baker Mayfield is KD, but without the burner accounts. He just spit truth, but he's not using a fake name. But I mean, Baker Mayfield, he feels confident, he feels comfortable, he feels dangerous, man. Give me more Baker Mania. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Keep it coming. I
I
love when they throw shade at Hugh Jackson. It cracks me up.
I do love it. I love everything about it. Even Freddie Kitchens, the new offensive coordinator, came out and was like, "Yeah, I agree with not that he agrees with everything that Baker Mayfield says necessarily, but that he's like, hey man, he's just speaking his mind, and I'm gonna respect that, and I know I'm not gonna hold that against him. So it's tough times for Hugh Jackson supporters.
At the end of the day, you guys are still the Browns, dude. Win some playoff games first. Make it to the playoffs first before you guys start talking shit. But with that being said, you know me, I do not like Bill O'Brien, and I think the Texans are the Dolphins of the earlier season that we have here. I think the Texans are faking it. They got lucky with a lot of games, man. They are faking it. They're faking it. We get it. Lamar Miller's better, but I still think they're faking it. I think the Browns might be able to win this, and I think the Browns will be able to win another game here, believe it or not. Because at 8-3, that's ridiculous. I don't think the Texans should really be at 8-3. They should really be almost like 6-5.
6-5. That's good math right there. We're all about doing the math on this program. You just mathed it up. It's good stuff. Very good stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm with you.
That was done live, too. That was live. Did you see that? That was done live. I didn't have a calculator or nothing. That was all mental math.
You didn't even get your cell phone out for that. No, you added 2 and you subtracted 2, like at the same time. Like, that was good shit, man. That was way to go. I'll tell you what, though. It's the Browns have won 4 times as many games without Hugh Jackson as they did with him. I think if you're doing the math on that, 130
he won
whatever
2
and
games
one.
this year. He won 2 games, right?
Did he? I don't know. I think he won the 1 game. I think he won. He might have won
He beat
2
the
games.
Raiders,
Yeah,
I
no, he
think.
did
He
win
beat
2
the
games
Raiders.
because there was that scene at the end of that 1 game where it looked like at the end of that overtime game that they won.
That's right.
Where it looked like he was calling to go for 2.
Going for 2, but it was overtime, so it was over.
Yeah, so it looked like I thought for a minute he was holding up the 2 because they'd won 2 games, but no, I was giving him too much credit there. He's just being a moron. But I'm on the Browns too. I mean, 5.5 points. I like him to keep this thing close. The defense is clicking. Baker Mania, it's in full effect. Let's see where the coin's at on this. Coin's a Texans fan, so the coin's bigger on Billy O'Brien than you are. I like Bill O'Brien. I think he's a good coach. If the Texans win this thing, they'll have won their division 3 out of the last 4 years. All right,
But that doesn't mean anything, though. That doesn't mean anything because they have to win a playoff game. It's like they're the Bengals South. Like, they're literally the Bengals South with a different quarterback.
I think they did win a playoff game at one point.
I think they beat the Bengals. I think they might have beat the Bengals, honestly. Back in like 2011, 2012. I think what happened was T.J. Yates was the quarterback at the time or something. So I think Matt Schaub got hurt, and then T.J. Yates was in there and won like 1 game, and then they got knocked out by the – I don't remember, man. I don't know shit. Let's just keep it rolling, dude. Let's talk the next game. We're talking Broncos-Bengals here.
Yeah, Broncos at the Bengals. Broncos 5-6, heading into Cincinnati 5-6 as well. They're heading in different directions though. Over/under is 45. Bengals are 5-point dogs at home, and the big story here, it's time. The Bengals offense just got a hell of a lot more athletic with your man, Jeff Driscoll, your University of Florida graduate. Your man, Jeff Driscoll, is getting ready to show these motherfuckers how athletic he is.
Well, athleticism doesn't necessarily win games. So it's like, I think they're going to get the absolute shit kicked out of them. And it doesn't matter if A.J. Green is back or not, because A.J. Green doesn't like blocking. He likes catching passes, and there's not going to be a lot of passes thrown in his direction in an accurate fashion. So A.J. Green or not, Bengals are going to lose this game. Dalton with a quote-unquote thumb injury, whatever that means. But we'll see. A strong Broncos defense is going to absolutely unathletic Jeff Driscoll. Jeff Driscoll is going to come in with his first loss of his career as a starter. Congratulations, Jeff. And I think that Case Keenum is going to be massaging Mrs. Keenum Sunday afternoon. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. I'll tell you what, if you think Kenny Stills has got a fucking problem getting the ball thrown his way, wait till you see the shit the Bengals wide receivers have to say after that. As I don't fucking understand. I mean, so I'm a Gator hater. I'm a notorious Gator hater just because I like talking shit to you. So I've kept some very close tabs on Jeff Driscoll's career. And I have no idea how that guy did not end up at State Farm and ended up on the Bengals roster. He's got camp arm written all over him, and he is going to be starting an NFL game this week. That is not going to turn out well. He's gonna make Nate Mullins look like Drew Brees. He's just gonna be a fucking disaster. I am all over the Broncos in this one. Von Miller's gonna eat him for lunch. They're gonna get fucked up.
They're gonna have a lot of designed runs and little scrambles, but the Broncos' run D is like really good. So Von Miller is gonna absolutely feast on Jeff Driscoll. It's gonna be feasting time. Go Broncos.
This is going to be one of those games where the announcers over-describe what an RPO is, like 9 times during the fucking game. It's like, dude, I've been watching this for at least a decade. You don't have to tell me that this is the Wildcat offense. Explain what that is anymore. I don't need to be explained what an RPO is. Like, oh, here's what Deshaun Watson's doing right here. He's throwing a forward pass. Explain what a forward pass is, Chris Collinsworth. It's like, no, I don't need to fucking hear that anymore. We get it. The quarterback's going to read the defense. He's going to run it or he's going to throw it. Quit explaining to me how that play works. I don't need to hear it.
There's going to be a lot of that this weekend. So Scott Hansen, please overtalk them so I don't have to hear what they're saying, because it's going to be a rough one come 1 o'clock on CBS.
Exactly. All right, we're both on the Broncos. The coin, he's a contrarian as usual. He's fading us. He's on the Bengals for some reason. I don't get that. There's no reason to put any money on that. That's one of the best bets of the week, I think, is betting against Jeff Driscoll.
Yep.
So Rams heading into the Lions. Rams 10-1. Lions 4-7. Over/under is 55. Lions are 10-point dogs at home. That's a Raiders type line. That's an insulting line. But what's interesting about this is you've got one of the most meticulously groomed head coaches in the league, Sean McVay. Best beard in the league. I mean, he's spending a Ryan Seacrest amount of time, manicuring that thing.
Beard, man. It's a dope beard.
It's a dope beard, man. That shit's tight. I mean, he's heading to the barbershop and getting that thing fucking tightened up every Sunday before he hits the sidelines. Then you got him going against Matt Patricia, the most slovenly fuck seen on an NFL sideline in quite some time. Matt is going to be rocking the trash bags and that like lumberjack beard. He can't coach defense either. That's a bad combination for Lions fans. I get it. 10 points is a lot, but we got an Ndamukong Suh revenge tour against Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald on that side of the ball. I'll tell you what, I like the Rams. I don't know how confident I am about those 10 points, but I like them to take one here in Detroit.
It was so funny when you were talking about Jameis Winston making a lens crafter's appointment. I'm thinking he needs to make that appointment for 2 fucking people, him and Matt Stafford, because Matt Stafford, he's not going to see a lot of guys, because that Rams defense is going to have a field day on Matt Stafford, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of passing. It's going to be a ton of passing, and that defense is solid. So Rams are going to Jared Fogle, Matt Stafford's baby face. It's going to be Mr. King of garbage time, because I don't know if they're going to be able to, cover that, but I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of interceptions. I'm seeing a Rams win, but the Lions are probably going to cover that 10 points.
I was going to suggest that Jameis should pick up Matt Patricia on the way, because the Lens Crafters is probably next to the Sport Cuts or whatever those fucking haircut places. You can get there.
Great clips. Clips.
Yeah, next to Great Clips. I was like, man, they could get an Uber share and cruise over there. But then I realized that Jameis isn't fucking allowed an Uber anymore. So one of them's going to have to drive. I don't know who's going to drive, but they're not going to be able to catch an Uber share over there. Because of the harassment and all that.
They might be able to do a Lyft, though. They'll do like a Lyft.
Maybe he's allowed on Lyft. I don't know if you get blacklisted from both of those. We'll see how that goes. Last game of the morning, the early slate. Cardinals at the Packers. Cardinals 2-9, one of the worst teams in the NFL. At Green Bay, 4-6-1, and one of the they get the same record as the Browns. People, everybody up in Wisconsin.
Unreal.
Guess what? You're
Unreal.
dorks that just take charges on the basketball court, and your football team fucking sucks, man. Over-unders 44. Packers are 14-point favorites at home. Aaron Rodgers, I've never seen somebody with 20 touchdowns and 1 interception so pissed off at the world, but he sure is. Good news for him. Josh Rosen's coming into town. He'll turn the ball over a few times. I like the Packers in this one. I think they're going to cover that 14. I think this is a blowout.
Fuck you, Netflix. I don't want to watch Orange is the New Black. Fuck you, Scott Hansen. I don't want to watch this game. This game's going to be an absolute fucking blowout. I'm with you there, buddy. But the true Green Bay fans, they're going to want an Aaron Rodgers loss here. Because if the Packers lose this game and they fall 4-7-1 to the Cardinals of all team, a Cardinals team that I think has only beaten the Niners, right? Haven't they only beaten the Niners twice?
I don't know who they've beaten. They might have beaten the Niners and the Raiders or something ridiculous like that.
It doesn't matter. They're terrible. But if they lose to the Cardinals, then I think the Mike McCarthy deli meat era is over.
Yeah, I mean he's already on the hot seat. Even if they beat the Cardinals, I don't see any way they sneak into the playoffs with just 9 wins in the NFC. Very unlikely. I don't think they get to 9 wins either, but I do think that they cover those 14.
I agree with you. I think they'll cover too.
So we're both on the Packers. Coin is on the Cardinals. Jets at the Titans. We're gonna roll right fucking through this one. Jets 3-8, Titans 5-6. Over/unders 40.5. Titans are 8.5-point favorites at home. This is a winner of this week's Scott Hansen Keep This Thing Off My Fucking TV award. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to watch it. I will take the Titans to cover those 8.5 points though.
The Titans need to start winning games. I mean, they're not a goddamn it, they're a boring team to watch, but they're better than the Jets. So Todd Bowles is in try-hard mode. He does the same thing my cousins do before they go out to salsa night. They go to the barber shop, to great clips. They get lined up real good. They look nice. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, Bobby. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Because they still get rejected at the local club on salsa night. So it doesn't matter. It's Todd Bowles. Doesn't matter, buddy. You get rejected. Doesn't matter. Your season's over. Titans will probably cover too.
You're the Titans. I'm the Titans. Hey, the coin's with us. That's Bitcoin certified. Go ahead. Put your money there. Chiefs head into the Raiders. Chiefs 9-2. Raiders 2-9. Over-unders 55.5. 14.5-point favorites on the road. Derek Unicycle hanging on for dear life. He's showing his ass. Terrible. Here's one of the things. John Gruden is going to be lusting after fucking Patty Mahomes all day long. He's going to be like that old guy at the Mandalay Bay pool area who's just sitting there ogling all the fucking prostitutes.
Just stroking his
lusting
dick
after them, stroking his hard cock as he's watching Patrick Mahomes do what he does. He's going to be so fucking jealous. And it may be seeing that convinces him that he can't deal with life with Derek Carr anymore.
You did a little Freudian thing right there. You're about to call him David.
I'm about to call him David. I mean, they both fucking suck. I mean, for a while you could convince yourself that he didn't suck, but there's too much evidence out there. Derek Unicycle, he is terrible, and we're going to be able to see him juxtaposed next to Patty Mahomes, and it's not going to look good. I don't care if that was 17, 18, anything under 21 points. I'm going to take the Chiefs. The Raiders lost by 17 last week to the Baltimore Ravens. You know how I know that? Because I had money on them to cover that fucking spread. So I'm not going to. If they couldn't cover that against the Ravens, no way. I'll take regular season Andy. I'll take Patty Trebuchet or Mahomes all day long. Give me the Chiefs in this one.
I don't know. I think what's going to happen is they're going to bet, Mahomes is going to drop like 2 or 3 touchdowns early. Tyreek Hill is going to do the Dougie into the end zone. They're going to be up like 4 touchdowns. At the first quarter. They're going to bench Patty. And I think John Gruden, he's really bad at doing things. He doesn't understand that you're supposed to not win these games. He's going to try to win this game. And then Unicycle is going to have to put up some numbers. But it doesn't matter, man. We've seen this before in the movies. You ever seen the movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe?
Of course. I'm a human being that was born within the last 30 years. I've seen that movie. I fucking love that movie.
Pick any scene in Russell Crowe with his rugged good looks and his crippling alcoholism. He's going to kick the shit out of everyone, just like Andy Reid and company is going to do. Andy Reid's going to absolutely stomp on John Gruden. So, I mean, John Gruden, buddy, he's going to be lusting. It's over. Just give him the shovel. It's already been given. I'm going to take the Chiefs here, but I'm a little scared about that line though, because I do think John Gruden is going to try to kind of creep up and show off to Patty.
So you're worried about a backdoor. You're worried about a backdoor cover with the Raiders. I wouldn't. They sure as fuck couldn't do it for me last week, so they'll probably do it against me this week. But I will say this: that may be the first time in human history that Andy Reid has ever been directly compared to Russell Crowe. I mean, that may be a first there. We're both on the Chiefs to cover that ridiculous spread. Coins on the Raiders. He loves Mark Davis's haircut and supercuts. Hey,
loves it.
loves it. He's been to supercuts. Mark, give fucking Matt Patricia a ride next time you head down there to get faded up, man. Like, give him a ride down there. He needs to see the barber.
Vikings, no lie though, Mark Davis, you got a sick haircut, dog. You got a fucking sick haircut, bro.
It's so sick, man. All right, Vikings at the Patriots. Vikings 6-4-1. Patriots 8-3. Over under is 49.5. Patriots are 5-point favorites at home. What's interesting here is Kirk Cousins actually has better numbers than Tom Brady. So Kirk Cousins, 32-89, 22 touches, 7 interceptions. I don't think that takes into account his 9 fumbles per game. I don't know where those stats are at, but that dude can't hang on to the fucking ball at all in the pocket. Tommy, 30-31, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Patriots had a running game going last week in New York. They'll probably be able to run on the Vikings. Gronk, he didn't practice on Thursday. He did practice on Wednesday. I think it's just precautionary. I think he'll be in the game. They're a different team when he's playing. They're a different team in November. They're always playing their best football at the end of the year. I like the Patriots at home, and I think they'll cover those 5 points.
I think they'll cover too, but the question really is, do you want to bet against Bill Belichick at home? That's really the question, because if you do, you're crazy. Really what I'm hoping for, though, is a Dan Bailey missed field goal at the end. That's really all I care about. I'm hoping Dan Bailey misses a field goal. I want to see a lot of motionless BB and a lot of motionless Zimmer staring at each other cryptically. And that's pretty much all I care about when it comes to this game. But, yeah, you're right. Sonny Michel will probably have a good game. Gronk will probably show. The offense will probably start to come together. And like you said, the Patriots, they're coming in hot, 8-3. I think they're going to leave here 9-3. I'm taking the Pats.
We're both on the Pats. I'll tell you what, if Dan Bailey misses another couple field goals, Mike Zimmer might be back in a fucking eye patch. I think that his eyeball's going to explode again from the rage of having to watch Dan Bailey miss another fucking field goal. That's a blessing for Mike Zimmer, though. Whenever he's got the eye patch on, at least he only needs to watch his kickers miss field goal with one eye. That's kind of soften the blow a little bit, make it a little bit easier on him. Coin is on the Vikings, contrarian as usual. 49ers at the Seahawks, the return of Richard Sherman. 49ers 2-9, Seahawks 6-5, over-under is 46. Seahawks 9.5-point favorites at home. Legion of Boom member Richard Sherman coming back into Seattle. He's the focus of the media attention this week. A lot of people asking about Russell Wilson, trying to get inside his head there. Sherman's response to that is basically that they really don't have a relationship. He's not as close to Russell Wilson as Russell Wilson is to Future's kids, but they're not hanging out in their off time, and it'd be interesting to see what kind of reception he gets when he gets back to Seattle.
Yeah, no one really cares about Richard Sherman anymore. I think that ship has sailed. But going back to the Niners and going back to their quarterback situation, and we were talking about it last week, is Mullins is confirmed finally he's human. And he is the below-average human that we always thought he could be and always thought he would destined to be. And that's what he is. He's very substandard, subpar. Hawks are going to win this game, and they'll definitely cover that too. So try-hard mode is engaged for the Seahawks. They're coming in at 6-5. They need to win this game if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. So there's going to be a lot of rapid gum chewing, a lot of try-hard mode. It's the real deal for the Seahawks, and I think Russell Wilson has been playing pretty good the last couple weeks, and they're going to leave here 7-5.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I think 9.5. That's comfortable for me against the Niners. I'm going to take the Seahawks and those 9.5 points. Coins with us. Triple Bitcoin certified. Put your money on that, everybody. Sunday night, we got the Chargers heading into Pittsburgh. 8-3 Chargers, 7-3-1 Steelers.
Let me ask you. This has to be the game of the week right here.
Right? I think so. I mean, it's either
week.
This game or that Vikings-Pats game. But
no,
I mean,
this has to be the game. Well, actually, what's cool is that you have the Pats-Vikings at 4:00. So this is going to be the evening game on Sunday with Collinsworth and Michaels. So this will be
exactly.
A good game.
That's going to be the little boosh, the little appetizer into the entree of Sunday night. You got Phil Rivers heading in there. He gets to play in front of a full stadium. That's always great. He enjoys that, whether it be home, away, whatever it is. Always
as long
a privilege.
As there's people there.
Yeah, as long as there's fucking people there. And the Steelers are going to be waving those yellow, terrible towels, so Phil can convince himself that they're waving, Chargers towels.
Go Bolts.
Rough year so far for Ben Roethlisberger on the turnover front. 24 touchdowns, but 12 interceptions. He's got more interceptions than Phillip Rivers has kids at this point, so that's a tremendous number to supersede. And he needs to take care of the ball a little bit better. He doesn't give a shit, though. He came out and he's like, I don't care how many interceptions I throw. I'm going to play my game. You like that the Steelers have a little bit of stability as far as Antonio Brown. He hasn't been on the premium asshole radar for at least 3 weeks now, but you figure that he might be due. And if the ball doesn't come his way on Sunday night, we may see something funky from him.
What do you mean? You think he's going to have like a meltdown or something? He's going to throw like blenders outside of his kitchen window again? What do you mean?
I don't know. I mean, it could be anything with him. I'm just glad I don't live in the same fucking apartment complex as he does. He has a terrible neighbor, and he's not a great teammate. And I think we might see that not a great teammate side of him.
Well, you're probably right on that. You're probably right. I'm not going to negate you at all, but I'm actually really pumped for this game because Phillip Rivers, I like seeing him. I like seeing what he can do. And he's playing like he's got more kids planned on the way for the misses. So, Phillip Rivers, I wish you well. I hope he puts up crazy numbers. The line for this game is what, 50 points, 51.5?
Yeah, 51.5.
You got to bet the over here, right? You got to bet the over no matter what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Steelers are always better on offense. Ben's always better at home. So you think that they'll be able to put up some points. So I do like the over.
I mean, they're
there.
at least putting like 28, 27, 30 points. And the Chargers they're pretty much doing the same thing. They're just launching that fucking thing. So
as far as this goes, man, I don't have a great feel for how this thing turns out. The Steelers, they've been holding on for dear life. They barely won that Jacksonville game. They got beat at Denver with a bunch of turnovers. They haven't been taking care of the ball. For whatever reason, I like the Chargers here.
I do like the Chargers here too. I don't dislike the Chargers. I'm looking at the wins and the losses here for the Steelers. They're winning games, 20 points. They beat Carolina 52 points, Baltimore 23 points. They're putting numbers up. So if I'm going to put any money on this, I'm going to put it on the over here. I just have a weird feeling that this game is going to get ridiculously out of hand. Like I said, Phillip Rivers, he's got more kids planned for the misses. He needs to make that money. He needs to show off for the scouts because he needs that money.
He's the monogamous Antonio Cromartie. Antonio Cromartie fighting through multiple vasectomies. He is going to get you pregnant. Don't shake that man's hand. Don't shake his hand. Don't shake his hand. You're going to end up in the hospital ward 9 months later having a kid. Stay the fuck away from that. So if you're where are you at against the spread on that thing? -3.5. Steelers are giving away 3.5 at home.
I don't really know. This is one of those games where there could be like it could be coming in like at the very end of the game. They're tied, and then there's like a fucking, or they're down a touchdown. There's like an interception in the end zone. Literally what happened last week. So it's like I can see the exact same thing happening. So I don't like the spread for that. I don't know. I don't want to put any money on that. I'll think maybe the Chargers will beat that spread.
So we're both on the Chargers, but the smart money's on the over there. Coin. Yeah, he's with us. Tripled up on the Chargers. Last game of the week, Washington Redskins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Redskins 6-5, head into Philly 5-6. Over/under is 45. Eagles are 6.5-point favorites at home. Now, big story of the week. Just when he thought Daniel Snyder couldn't be any more of a scumbag, he is the guy who puts the olive branch out and he says, "Hey, Reuben Foster." Domestic abuser, allegedly. All right, we're going to leave the allegedly on there for now. but
Would you say for another week, another month?
for at least until you beat up the next woman, Ruben, or beat up the same woman yet again, which seems to be your preferred taste, you fucking scumbag. But anyhow, Daniel Snyder, he doesn't care about that. Who'd have guessed the man who refuses to change his team's racist nickname has no problems bringing in a guy with character issues into his organization. What's funny about that is somebody from the Redskins organization came out and said that they talked to some of the other Alabama players on the team about Reuben Foster, and then reporters asked them directly, and they're like, yeah, no one talked to us about this shit. No one said a word to us about that.
Yeah, you know why? Because he was lying. He was just fucking lying.
Yeah, because you were fucking lying, bro. That's how that works. Yeah,
you know what? But at the end of the day, dude, he can't hear you, and he can't hear me from 4,500 feet in the air bitching about character issues. Because at the end of the day, he's got a private jet, and it says Redskins on the side, or it has a helmet of like a Native American, is the politically correct term. So he doesn't give a shit, dude. He's just trying to win games. He doesn't care. Dan Snyder, renowned piece of shit. Just trying to keep his name going, not trying to keep his name alive. So Dan Snyder, don't ever change, buddy. Don't ever change.
You be you. Keep being the best you, Dan. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Eagles and those 6.5 points. They've been up and down. They've screwed me over a few times. I like them more than the Redskins with Colt McCoy at quarterback. Unless AP gets at least 35 carries in this game and 2 Segway coupons, I don't think the Redskins have a chance. I don't think John Gruden's got the stones to stick with the running game. Doors still open for that Gruden and Gruden 2019 pairing in Oakland as they get ready to head to Vegas. So watch
Gruden to Gruden.
Yeah, watch your ass, Greg Olson, offensive coordinator in Oakland. You're about to put your shit on Zillow. Don't list it with that dude that Zach Smith hates, though. Like, don't put it on there. He doesn't deserve it. So don't list it with him. But you're gonna need to list that house sometime soon. I'm with the Eagles. Where are you at on this one, PG?
I want the Eagles to win just so that everybody can be 6-6, and so the playoff race will just be. I don't have a horse in this race. I just want this to be competitive till the very end. I want this to be one of those NFC East end of the season battles up until week 17, week 18. So I'm going to take the Eagles here.
Yeah, Eagles will be one game behind the Cowboys if they're able to pull that off. So let's see what the Coin's got going on. Coin's with us. He's on the Eagles. So that's where the smart money's at this week. But we're going to get out of here. PG, closing thoughts as we head into the weekend?
No, I'm angry. I want to go to bed. I'm gonna pull Joe Flacco here. I might just eat some Haagen-Dazs and wear my pajamas and masturbate. So
that's the way to do it, yeah.
I'll keep you posted, brother. I'll text you.
Yeah, let me know. Keep everyone updated. There's nothing we care about more. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy these NFL games. We'll see you back here Sunday night as we recap Week 13 in the NFL.